Ray Dalio says there's three major forces that are happening right now. And those three major forces are what are going to take so much of this country down. But before I tell you about these three forces, I need you to do something. Right down below, I need you to click that subscribe button. That's right. Just click the subscribe button, and right up the top, there's a little bell. Smash that bell. And while you're at it, give me a like and shoot me a comment and let me know what you think of this and how you are handling some of these things. Right there, the subscribe button. Just hit it. Great. Let's dive into the three forces that are working against everything we're doing. The first thing is the government is creating more debt. They're creating more debt and printing more money through the Treasury to buy that debt. And this is creating a massive amount of debt that the government will never be able to pay off. The government's literally creating more debt than it brings in revenue, to the extent of over 120% more. That's right. So they're not even making enough money in tax revenue to pay the debts. And the debts aren't slowing down. Oh, no, no, no. And you don't believe me that the government is in this situation? Well, get a load of this. The budget deficit is up 92% just this year. That's right, 92%. Can you imagine that? Well, you probably can't. But interest rates are high. From March 2022 to March 2023, $430 billion more has been created. That's just a year's period of time. $430 billion more. That means that the debt right now is $31.4 trillion. Now let me put this into perspective. You all know how to count 1 to 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got that. So now count to 100. How long did that take you? Count to 1,000. How long did that take you? Let me tell you how long it would take you to count to 1 trillion. Just 1 trillion, not 31.4 trillion. It would only take you 30,000 years. So get started now, I'll keep track. 30,000 years, that's all it's gonna take you to count to $1 trillion. And we have 31.4 trillion, and they're estimating that we're gonna be at $50 trillion in debt. Well, that should concern you because it's not just got you concerned, it's got me concerned. It's also got China concerned. China warns of global financial instability from the US. And what does the fallout look like from the United States? Because we are the leading empire, we are the reserve currency. So what does our spillage look like? And how does that toxic waste that we're spilling over, and I don't mean real waste, I just mean our financial mess, how does that affect the rest of the world? Well, that's what China is asking, and China's not the only one asking that. Because another thing that the IMF is saying is that these tensions between the US and China could cost the world economy 2% of its outlook. That's right, 2%. Now that might seem like a small number, but I bet you it's a large number when you really figure out how much output there is in the world. Let's go to force number 2. It's a lot of internal conflict. Think about it. They've got us pretty well divided in this country. It's either red or blue, it's black or white, it's vaxxed or unvaxxed, and shall I keep going? No, but you get it. There's massive instability right now internally. And just when you look at wealth gaps from the rich to the poor, it's the largest that it's ever been since 1930. Force number 3 is external conflict. If you don't see this, you've been living under a rock. China and the US, well, they're not exactly buddies anymore. And Russia, well, they pretty much hate us because we're meddling in their war over there in Ukraine. All of this leads to something that we've been at because, we'd have to go back and you'd have to study history. And if you went back to 1945, that was the great shift. After the war, we won the war, which means there was a power shift. We became the leading power. And in the leading power, because we won the war, we got to write the rules. And we did. And we've been living under those rules all the way up to this point. Now, whether or not you think we're a strong nation or a weak nation, it doesn't matter. The other countries like China and India and Russia are probably all looking at us saying, you know what? Now might be a good time to try to take some of that control and power back. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but history always repeats itself. And you know what? When you follow the cycles, they go in 75-year cycles. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Yep, we're there. So what does all this mean to you? How are you gonna take all this data that I just gave you that probably has some of you actually in tears? And if it does, I'm really sorry. I'm just giving you the facts. And there's just a lot of facts. But what could you do to get ahead of this? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. The first thing you should do is create a budget. All your income's on the left, all your expenses and debts on the right. What comes out at the end? Are you making enough money to support all your debts with some excess, and could you still save? Or are you like everybody else in this country where you're saving less than 5%? Hopefully you're the one that's saving roughly 10%. And if you are, that's great. Secondarily, we got to get rid of your debts. So we really got to look at your debts and do this little thing that's called the snowball effect. Okay, and how that works is you put the lowest debts in order to the highest debts. Forget about the interest rates. Low balance to high balance. And then watch a couple of my other videos. I'll put one up at the end that will show you exactly how to erase that debt, because debt will be the number one thing that brings you and your family's financial situation to a halt. The other thing you got to do, and this is really difficult, so I want you to listen up carefully. You need to take back control of your money. Stop thinking that the financial advisors are going to take your money and make everything okay. They're not. Financial advisors, I used to be one for 16 years, they make money managing your money by putting it into the stock market. Where is the stock market going? That's right, down. It's not going to go up, it's going to go down. That's the cycle we're in. But yet the advisors want to put your money in the markets. Where does it make any bloody sense? It doesn't. Why does it not make sense? Well, it doesn't make sense because you just don't understand how the game is played. But you certainly understand that your money is your money, and I'll tell you this, if you don't understand it, no one cares more about your money than you. So it's time for you to become a good steward of your own money. It's time for you to take back control of your money. It's time for you to stop thinking about giving up control to somebody else like the banks and Wall Street and the advisors, and to take that control back and make that money go to work for you by you becoming your own bank. Well, that's right. You can do exactly what a bank does. And you could probably do it better than banks, because clearly the banks aren't doing a very good job. Have you been to the bank to borrow money lately? Yeah, they're not lending. Why? Because they're scared. Because they're all in liquidity crisis. They're just not talking about it in the news, folks. If you become your own bank, if you listen to what I teach about how you can be your own bank, how you can actually take back control of your money, you will look at this next cycle, this recession, as the biggest opportunity of your life. Because, folks, Warren Buffett said it best. The best way to make money in investing is to buy low. When are things low? When everything comes crashing down. And that's exactly what's about to happen. So it's time for you to get ready. It's time for you to get ready to buy low. But then you can't forget the second part, because the first part is buy low, coming to a theater near you. The second part is when you buy low, you got to sell high. That's what got you in the mess you're in now. That's what got so many people in the mess. They forgot to sell when things were so good because they thought, oh, it's going to the moon, until it didn't go to the moon. That's why your account statements are down 20 or 30%. You forgot number 2, sell high. And if you just follow buy low and sell high, you'll never lose money. These are so simple, folks. So simple that even a 3-year-old could understand that. But yet, for some reason, we always follow the masses off the cliff. I don't know why. It's sentiment. Because most financial decisions are made heavily on emotions and not on logic. All I'm doing is asking you to think logically. Because if you do, the rose-colored glasses will come off. And you'll be able to see things for what they really are. And you'll be able to avoid some of the pitfalls that come along with that emotional-based decision-making you've been doing. And in doing so, this next cycle, this next recession, will just be an opportunity. It'll be like your playground. So folks, I hope you take some of this advice.